Chaser. He gives the people a voice, empowers you with a choice. She gives you straight talk, no chaser. Straight talk with no chaser. Straight talk with no chaser. Straight talk with no chaser. She provides a platform of growth and gives a dying people hope. She gives you straight talk, no chaser. Straight talk with no chaser. Straight talk with no chaser. Straight talk with no chaser.
Welcome to tonight's segment of the Straight No Chaser Show on intellectualradio.com and iHeartRadio station. This is your host, Rhea Ray Harris, and I am so glad to be with you this evening. My guest tonight is Coach Remi, who is the Law of Attraction life coach. Remi, you're going to have to explain some things, girl, because folks have been asking me all day. We watching that, we need to know what that is. So explain what a Law of Attraction life coach is versus all the other relationship life coaches and organizing life coaches. What is a Law of Attraction life coach?
What I do, I teach and empower women to utilize the power that they already have. And in utilizing that power, I teach them how to tap into their inner abilities to work with the energies within the realms of the universe. So, law of attraction, for those who may not know what the law of attraction is, law of attraction is just one of many laws that governs the universe. There's many laws that governs the universe, and the law of attraction is one. And so the law of attraction simply states that like attract like, meaning that whatever energy that you place out into the universe, that is in fact what you will in turn receive back.
So, for more basic terms, if I put out negativity, I attract negative people and negative situations to me.
Absolutely.
And that's just what that is. Okay, and that
Exactly.
was that. You know, people will want to get complicated, but you know, there's simplicity in most things if you listen. Okay, when you work with women, when we're dealing with the energies that they are putting out, typically, what do you see?
It's all about mindset and the way we think is basically the conversations that we hold with ourselves, the agreements that we have made with ourselves. And a lot of times those conversations are rooted in fear. It's rooted in fear-based stories. So a lot of what I see is fear-based stories.
And when you're operating from fear, what are you attracting?
You're attracting fear. You're attracting all of those experiences that mimic what you yourself actually believe, because really in truth, what we draw to us is our truth. And when I say it's our truth, it's what we really in truth believe to be true.
So let me ask you a question. Actually, let me give you a scenario. I encounter a lot of women who out of their mouths say certain things, but when you look at the actions, they don't match up. And out of the mouths, I'm happy and it's wonderful and it's, you know, it's just a glorious life. But when you look at some of the behaviors, it's sad, it's depressed, it's harsh, it's hurt. So they aren't attracting the happy, joy that they're speaking. They're attracting the depression and the sadness that they actually feel.
Yes, because here's how it goes. The law of attraction works in this way. It is the energy that you are engaging with the universe. regardless to what you say, if you believe and if your emotions are contrary to what you say, you still are going to attract what you are. I often say that you never really attract what you want, you attract what you are.
That's powerful.
You attract what you are.
Because so many people want certain things, but they're manifesting other things.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Because the law, it does not work in such a way that I want a particular thing. You can say that you want a particular thing all day long. However, if your whole being in itself does not think or believe that you want that particular thing, you
really aren't going
you're just
towards
spitting
it.
hot air out into the universe. Hot air.
Okay. Now, when I looked at the packages you offer, the one there were two that caught my attention, but the one worksheet that caught my attention was the 3 most powerful ways of manifesting. Because I don't think that the average person thinks on that level, even though they may want to, but they just don't know how to get there.
Right.
Can you tell us one of those 3 most powerful ways of manifesting?
I would have to say belief. I would have to say belief. Because it's going back to just what we've talked about. If you do not believe that you absolutely deserve, if you do not believe that what you say out of your mouth, what it is that you really, really desire in your life.
In here.
It has to come from here. It has to be rooted from here. It's again, you're just talking to air, space. You're just talking to space because you have to believe. You have to believe. And I say it all the time. You may see it in some of my posts. You have to believe that thing that you desire or want in your life. You have to believe it as though you already have it, because the real truth behind the law of attraction is the belief factor, believing that you already have everything that you absolutely desire, everything that you absolutely need or want in your life. The belief factor. If you don't have the belief factor,
then the rest of it falls short.
Yes, absolutely.
This is what I'm going to do. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have H. Cortez's money moment. And then we're going to talk about decluttering your mess, how to get to your sweet spot, and the Goddess Academy with Coach Remi on the Straight No Chaser show on intellectualradio.com and iHeart radio stations. We'll be right back.
Straight No Chaser family, it's your main man H. Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the working class, coming to you with tonight's money moments. Tonight, although we normally talk about wealth, I want to talk about something just a little bit differently as we approach the Christmas season. I want to talk about the attitude of gratitude and why being thankful can change your entire world, right? You have to be thankful for the things that you have in order to recognize what you have your hands on. It is my belief that there's no need to fall on your knees in prayer and ask God for blessings. I believe that God has given you everything that you need already. Problem is, you're not thankful for the little things that you do have, so he's not going to bless you with much more. So there's one thing that I want you to change in your vocabulary in order to exercise your attitude of gratitude. Most of us run around talking about everything that we got to do. I got to get up and go to work. I got to get the kids off to school. I got to do this. I got to do that. Well, when you say what you got to do, you're almost saying you're doing something that you don't really want to do. And if someone is forcing you to do something, it's hard to be grateful for that. But if, on the other hand, you change your vocabulary and just change one letter in that word, instead of saying what you got to do, start saying what you get to do. See, I got a beautiful wife, beautiful family, beautiful children, but I don't got to love my wife. I don't got to raise my sons. I get to. I get to love my wife. I get to be a good father to my children. I get to run my business. I get to see how that creates an attitude of appreciation for what you have. And it's only when you appreciate what you have will you then be able to acquire more things, whether that is wealth, whether that is prosperity, whether that is peace, whether that is happiness, whether that those are material things, doesn't really matter. It starts with your attitude of gratitude. So instead of saying what you got to do, be thankful for all of the things that you get to do. And when you get there, you will open up an entire world of resources at your fingertips that you can use to build wealth, acquire anything that you want to possess by having an attitude of gratitude. So if you're looking for a business in the financial education space, I'm looking for partners. So go to financialhealthmentor.com. Let me know that you heard me on Rhea Ray's show, and we can make arrangements for you to get a discount for my program. But I'm your main man, H. Cortez, financial health mentor to the working class. You're checking out the Straight No Chaser show with my girl Rhea Ray as your host. Until I talk to you next week, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. Peace out, people.
And that was this week's money moment. And oddly enough, and interestingly enough, I don't tell H. Cortez what to say.
Mm-hmm.
And for his presentation to tie into yours is not coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence. It's the universe.
Yes.
So that was awesome. So I said before we went on break that I want to talk about decluttering the mess first.
Mm-hmm.
How to get to the sweet spot second, and the Goddess Academy third. So when we say decluttering our mess, because okay, my room might be a little messy, but we're talking about a different type of mess.
Yes.
We're talking about some mess in here or some mess in here or all of it.
Just all of it. All of it. And that's the reason why we're not able to really tap into our authentic self, the person that we really want to show up in the world, because we have so much debris. And when I say debris, we have emotional debris, we have mental debris, we have spiritual debris. And so when we don't take the time to really clean our lives up, then we can't show up in the world being who we really want to be, because we have so much to clean through.
There was a song some years ago for the Erykah Badu fans called Bag Lady.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking about that as you're speaking,
Mm-hmm.
because she said you're going to hurt your back carrying around those bags like that.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people that have, my mother has a cousin who's in his 70s, and he still talks about things that happened in the 40s. And I'm like, are we still there? Are we still holding on to this? Because it's not stated in a positive memory light. It's stated as an oppression. Someone was doing something where it was a negative. Is that some of the clutter that we need to get rid of? Is those past hurt memories?
Absolutely. Because that means when you hear someone constantly talking about what happened 3, 4, 10 years, 15, 20 years ago, then that tells you that they're not in present time.
And
They're not, they're someplace else. They're not in present time.
Are those people also still in a state of trauma, would you say?
Absolutely. They may not know it. The awareness may not be there. The awareness may not be there. Though they know that there's pain there. And they may be in 2016, but they're not really physically, mentally, they're physically in 2016, of course.
But mentally and emotionally.
But mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, they're not. They're still 20 years behind.
So we have to get past that to even start dealing with the 2000, almost 17 at this point, new you that wants to and deserves to do more and better.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
What is the sweet spot and how do we get to it?
I said, I wonder what people would think with that topic, the sweet spot, right? Well, the sweet spot, that sweet spot is, you always hear me talk about being authentic, just being real with yourself. And then once you get to that place of realness, like, this is me, this is who I am. And then you understand who you really are. You understand how you want to show up in the world. Because every day I get up, how am I going to show up in the world today? What am I going to represent today? And so once you really get into that space, in that space where you're just being you, that whole authentic person, that you're living from the depths of who you are as an individual, you're right there. That's your sweet spot. You see, that's the sweet spot, and that's where the magic began. That's where the spiritual creativity began, right there, when you're just right in the essence of who you are.
Because for you to be there, you have to be, in my mind, comfortable with who you are,
Mm-hmm.
and have already decluttered.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, Lord, this is the best me. This is the
Yes.
true me. And this is what I'm showing every day.
Yes.
I'm not putting on a mask. I'm not putting on a front
Yes.
or a facade. I'm going out in the world as the child you created me to be.
Yes. And really, in truth, it's about showing up in the world and being the very, very best version of your God self that you can be. That's your sweet spot. And because we don't take the time to nurture that part of ourselves, we never, ever, ever, there's so many of us that never, ever, ever reach the sweet spot.
And that's tragic. When you said
Yes.
that, my head involuntarily moved back like, wow, that's rough.
Yes.
Let me ask you this. With those of us that live in urban areas,
Mm-hmm.
and in particular, we're in Chicago, and all of the, not just the community oppression and negative energy with the shootings, et cetera, which I am not going to talk about tonight, but also the responsibilities now that seem to fall more on individuals versus when I was younger, I felt more so like it was a family problem. So we were sharing
Mm-hmm.
the burden, because the load is a little lighter when it's 5 of us on
Mm-hmm.
under the log versus one of us trying to navigate it without falling over. Do you feel, with women in particular right now, 'cause I know you work a lot with women of color, that the burdens of just the day-to-day life are so hard and so heavy that it's kind of difficult to declutter and even acknowledge that there is a sweet spot?
Yes. And yes, 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 yes. But we have to find that time, because we're now living in a different time. We're living in a different type of energy. We're living in a different type of consciousness, on the universe. There's a different consciousness. And that different consciousness is going to call for us, the woman, to be put in the forefront. I'm talking about the new woman, the woman that lives in the third dimension. And if we are so made all up with all of our makeup on, and, giving away to nonsense or nothingness. I like to call it nothingness. And when we give ourselves over to that, we cannot tune into the level of consciousness that we need to, because believe it or not, it's going to take the woman to really, in truth, which is a heavy responsibility for us to usher a new reality in. Because every civilized nation or community or society is judged off of the condition of the woman, not the man. So at the end of the day, we have to start putting ourselves and positioning ourselves so that, as Jesus said, that we can hear the radio in our heads, because it's going to come a time where it's going to take us and that level of consciousness to navigate out of certain situations. And if we're not tuned up spiritually, it's
going to be a rough road.
We're going to be in trouble, because the shift has already begun.
I noticed that with Mr. Trump, for example, there were a lot of issues about what he said, but a lot of his conversation got into what I would term myself as disrespect for women. And it amazed me that even with his having done that numerous times, not only did men overlook that, but there were still so many women that appeared to support him. And it made me question how acclimated we've gotten as a society to negativity and negative energy. Because for me, there are certain things that they're just boundaries that once you cross over into that, I don't disrespect you as a child of God, but I don't fool with you past that. And so as women, have we now succumbed more so to the negativity that has, like I said, that we have now found ourselves into another realm in this world? Have we just said, well, this is just what it is, and a lot of us have just given up to that?
And it all goes back to not really understanding who we are as spiritual beings. And when you mentioned that, a thought came to me that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan had said that as women, we have gotten to the point that we don't know how to recognize a compliment from an insult. And that really tells you where we at on a spiritual level. So I think that really speaks to, what we're talking about now. You know what I mean? Just getting, really spiritually tuned up. Because if you were really spiritually tuned up and you knew who you was as a spiritual being and you stand in your power base, you'd be like, hold on, wait a minute.
That's not okay.
That's not okay. That does not sit well with me. That's not in alignment with me, and I'm not supporting that. So it really goes back to understanding who we are as spiritual beings and being comfortable in that power base or that sweet spot.
Talk to myself and our audience about the Goddess Academy, because the term just caught me. I said, oh, see, she's taking it to next level, which we should.
Yes.
What is the Goddess Academy, and how do women benefit from being a part of it?
The Goddess Academy, I work with women entrepreneurs, of course, and women in general, teaching them how to harness their power and to create amazing life and business based off the principles of the law of attraction. And so the Goddess Academy is just that. It's an online school for women that's teaching them how to make mindset shifts, teaching them how to tap into their inner goddess, that part of us, that person that no one else sees. Because believe it or not, if we're not accustomed to sitting with her and being with her and getting to know her, that has to be developed. And so that's what the Goddess Academy is about. It's about teaching you how to manifest your beingness, who you are as a spiritual being, addressing and confronting those fear-based stories so you can get past the fear-based stories and start getting into some of your love-based stories. It's about being one, being one with yourself and being one with everything else in creation. That's what a goddess is, because at the end of the day, we're all gods.
Yes.
We're all gods.
Yes, because that's what we were created to be.
We're all gods.
Now, do you do individual mentoring still?
I do, but not so much, because I'm real focused on the Goddess Academy and giving those students or those clients what they need to develop. And so when you're doing one-on-one, sometimes that really takes it takes a lot of energy.
I was about to say
It takes a lot of
time
energy.
and energy.
It takes a
yes.
lot of time and it takes a lot of energy. So those who would like to work with me, I'm asking that they register for the Goddess Academy, because within the Goddess Academy, there is a component to the Goddess Academy where you will work with me one-on-one, because those students that's in or part of the Goddess Academy, they're with me for 12 whole weeks. And in that 12 whole weeks, we have a group mastermind every week. And then there's a component where they're with me one-on-one, getting crystal clear and laser focused on which direction that they want to take their lives, from stagnation to movement.
And for a lot of us, we don't, as you said, there are certain things we don't even recognize anymore. Stagnation, I think, is one of them.
Yes.
You know, you feel stuck, but you don't even recognize why you're stuck, which is you.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
one of the things I would like everyone that's listening to take away from this show tonight is the outside world can do a lot of things, but it only touches you if you allow it.
Yes.
So if you're not doing what you want to do, yes, I know the money isn't right. The money's never going to be right to get started.
Right.
Yes, you have a boss that's, not the best. Well, that's okay too, because that person can only affect you as much as you allow that person to affect you.
Right.
This world can only affect you as much as you allow the world to affect you. But you have to get solid, like you said, in here to be able to stand those slings and bows and arrows, because if not, they'll destroy you.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you're still walking around.
Mm-hmm.
You're walking around destroyed.
Yes.
How do women get in touch with you for the Getting Sassy About What Matters, about the Goddess Academy, about how to get to my sweet spot, which you should do, I think, after you declutter your mess?
Yes.
And the 3 most powerful ways of manifesting. There are a few other programs you offer. How do potential clients reach you?
They can reach me via Facebook at Coach Remi.
REMI.
Coach Remi. And they can also reach me on Twitter at Coach Remi. They can reach me also Instagram, Coach Remi, as well as Periscope. I'm on Periscope, guys. Coach Remi. Coach Remi.
And once the ladies finish the Goddess Academy, and I know they're not a monolithic group as far as what they're doing, but for the ones that have finished the academy, what is the greatest thing you've seen them accomplish?
Most of the women accomplish their goals. If whatever goals or whatever they had coming into the Goddess Academy, they are accomplishing that which they desire to accomplish. And confidence, most important, confidence. Confidence.
So they are able to, with their newfound confidence, remove the roadblocks that had stopped them from accomplishing the goals that they thought they wanted and now are seeing come into light.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You can't beat that with a bat, as
You
they
can't
say.
beat it. Confidence, confidence, confidence.
Well, with that, I thank you so much, Coach Remi, for
Thank
coming on the
you.
Straight
I
No
am
Chaser
so
show.
happy you brought me
Oh,
back.
yes, because when I saw the new program, I said, oh, we have to talk about it. Because between the Sweet Spot and the Goddess Academy, I had to stop and look again. I said, oh, yes, we have to talk about this. So, everyone who is interested, go to Coach Remi, Remi, on all forms of social media and get in touch with who you are so you can become who you want to be.
Yes, absolutely. And they also can reach me at getting the life, the letter U, desire.info, getting the life, the letter U, desire.info, or 866-285-6477.
And with that, we have finished this wonderful segment of the Straight No Chaser show on intellectualradio.com. As always, dedicate yourselves to the truth, no matter the cost. This is your host, Ria Ray Harris, signing off for the week. Peace and blessings in the name of Jesus. I'll see you next time.
It's straight talk with no chaser. He gives the people a voice, empowers you with a choice. She gives you straight talk, no chaser. Straight talk with no chaser. Straight talk with no chaser. Straight talk with no chaser. She provides a platform of growth and gives a dying people hope. She gives you straight talk, no chaser. Straight talk with no chaser. Straight talk with no chaser. Straight talk with no chaser.